Welcome and what is up there, everybody? This is Casper Trader back here with another video today. And in today's video, I'll be discussing two things. Number one, the trades I took this week that made me lose around 5% of my portfolio, which is around $75. I know it does suck pretty bad. But the thing that kind of offset my loss was last week, because in the last week, I made around the same amount of money. As you guys can see, I was at this peak, which kind of offset my losses. So I'm basically back at ground zero with options. So that's the first thing. I'll be going over the trades I took that made me lose around $75 this past week and the important lessons I learned from my mistakes making those trades. And then number two, what I'll be discussing and talking about is the new challenge that I'm starting on this channel. So make sure to stay tuned. It'll be pretty interesting and full of emotions. So talking about the first part, but before I get into it, I'd really appreciate you guys could smash that like button below and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys have not yet. A like does really help me out in the YouTube algorithm, and if you guys subscribe, you guys can watch my videos, which I post every single week. If you guys are interested in finance or stocks in general, this is the channel for you, definitely. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. So getting into the video, what I did trade this week to make me lose around the $75 was mostly caused by AMD. And what it was is basically the week before, which led to most of my profits, was also trading AMD. And that was me trading based off support and resistance on AMD. And I found the support of AMD being around 29.50, and it kind of varied at different spots, but it was around the area of 29.50. So I was able to go off that and trade some credit spreads on that and make some decent profits, which last week I made around $75 trading these options on AMD and some other stocks. So what happened this week is basically AMD broke the support. I know it's a terrible failure on my part, but once it broke support, I thought it was going to be a false breakout, but no, it was not. It just continued crashing and crashing and crashing, and then overnight it just also dipped down even more. And I tried to find a way to recover my losses, which is lesson number one: don't trade based on emotions. I know I've learned this lesson before. I didn't trade with too much emotions. It could have gone way, way, way worse. I made a decision that I could have waited out and prevented most of these losses, which what I could have done is determined like the pattern that the stock was doing and if it was even predictable after it broke the support. And if I would have decided, like right now, I have a clear mind, I can decide that I don't really see a clear pattern on AMD, so I'd rather be out of the stock or trading options on it in this case. So the lesson I learned was to not be emotional and take a step back, maybe take a 1 day to clear your mind and get back to trading after that. So on AMD right now, the options that I'm holding have gotten me a current loss of around $21, which is a pretty big loss, I admit, around 30%. But one of these credit spreads that I'm holding are credit spreads that I make profit off of. Credit spreads that I make profit off of as long as they're above, AMD is above 2750, correct? Yeah, 2750. And I'm expecting a little bounce on AMD not tomorrow, Monday. I'm expecting a little bounce on AMD. And once it does bounce up a little bit, I'll probably take my loss or profit or whatever it is. If I look at it really quickly, the credit spread, I think I bought it at a pretty decent price. So yeah, I don't have that much of a big loss on this one, which is a $27.50 one. So I think I could either recover all the losses or just come out with like $1 or $2 that I lost from this AMD credit spread. And this other one that I bought, which was a little bit riskier, that I tried to bet for AMD staying above $29, which right now the pattern is, I can't identify it. All I know is that it's pretty oversold, so I'm expecting at least a little bit of a bounce on Monday morning, and that is the time that I'm looking to sell these options, which are the ones that lost me the most right here, as you guys can see, 50%. So that's basically what I'm looking to do on Monday. And another option that I'm holding right now, and I'll be talking about one that actually made me decent money, which wasn't even that big of a position on my side. KMI is Kinder Morgan. I bought this stock because I actually saw it in a Discord chat that I am in, and it was recommended by someone and I took a look at the stock, and it was actually a pretty good place to buy a credit spread, put credit spread. So I wanted the stock price to stay above $20.50, and I may even hold this credit spread up until the expiration date, October 4th. And what happened with this is I basically bought it on the dip. Simple, basic, like staircase pattern, ups and downs. I bought it at the dip, and now I'm holding up until at least goes up a little bit more, or I could just wait until expiration date. So that is my trade with KMI, and one that did make me a decent amount of money, and it wasn't even a big position. I could have made this a bigger position. Was Microsoft. Microsoft right here. I also traded a credit spread, a put credit spread, and similarly to what I did on KMI, I also just bought on the dip. It was pretty simple. So what I did is I purchased the stock when I saw it had a dip. I think it was right around here. And then on the credit spread, I think it expired. Yeah, expired today. And I just made the margin. I just made the premium of around $14 just holding this option, which was a pretty nice profit. Around 14% profit because I put in $100 of collateral, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, those are basically my trades for this week, and the lessons I learned. First of all, don't be emotional, and number two, what I also did learn is to keep your credit spreads, if you're trading credit spreads, keep them lower than what is expected. Like what I used to do is, for example, the support of AMD would be like 29.76. Instead of just putting my credit spread, the place of profit where I would profit if the stock stays above it, instead of putting it at like 28.50 to give myself a little bit of space just in case for a little bit of like the stock volatility, or maybe even $29, I was a bit aggressive with it, and I put them very close to the support, which are pretty risky, and it was kind of the cause of me losing a large amount because I took a risky position and it didn't go my way. So those are two lessons I learned from trading. And now to the second part of the video, which I'll be discussing the challenge that I'm looking to do this following week on Monday. So what I'm looking to do is start an options challenge, starting from $250 and trying to grow that as much as possible, but my goal would be to get it to at least $1,000, and if it goes well, I'll probably try to grow it to $10,000. I will have a lot of mistakes along the way, and I could admit to that right away, and that is mostly because I'm still a beginner with options. This isn't going to be some challenge created by some options genius, some old guy who's been trading options for like 22 years. This is going to be a challenge for the average person who's kind of interested in options, where they can learn from my successes and mistakes if they're interested in that. And that is basically the main goal of this challenge. For me to learn from my mistakes and successes, and for you guys to learn from them as well, to make you guys better traders. So that is the challenge that I'm looking to start, $250 to $1,000, and if possible, $10,000. And yeah, I can't wait to start that series, and it'll be starting most likely Monday or Tuesday. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.